Welcome to Dingers and Dashers. My name is Josh alongside my co-host Adam. It is not the best day to talk about Caps hockey. Let's get right into it. And Adam, these Caps, they're bad. They've been really bad this week, and I'm going to say it now. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year.
Josh, it's a sad reality, and we're not going to come to that yet because technically, we're still fighting for a wild card spot right now, and we're in that hunt technically, but we don't look like it, Josh. And as you just said, we're not so high on the Capitals right now. They haven't been able to get 2 wins together in a row. 2 wins, Josh. Getting 2 wins together in a row. The Sabres can do it. The Sabres are on a roll. The Capitals are not. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so since mid-December, these Caps have not won back-to-back games. Folks, it's the tail end of January right now, and I really think that speaks to where these Caps are in terms of how they're going to move the trade deadline. You know, these Caps by no means are mathematically out of the race. They're about 8 or 10 points back right now in the wild card. So the season's not over. But based on every piece of information the Caps have given us, both how they're playing and how they're responding to it, not in the post-game interview where they say like, oh, we need to play better, but how they respond to it the next night on the ice, it just doesn't look like they can make up that ground. They don't look like a hockey team who wants to be in the playoffs right now.
No, it's not looking sharp, and it's on this little road stretch the Capitals have had right now. They haven't seemed to get anything going. The game last night against the Seattle Kraken it looked terrible. We did not look good at all. The Capitals got dominated by a superior Seattle Kraken team right now. The way they were playing against us yesterday, Josh. Ovi gets another goal. Ovi's scoring, dude. Like when Ovi scores, we usually do well, and he's on a roll. He's getting good looks. That was a great passing play. Ovi had an open net, but no, it's just we're not generating enough play. We're getting dominated in these games, Josh. Earlier in the year, we were like, oh, we're getting a little unlucky. I feel like we're still playing well. We're losing games that we shouldn't lose. Right now, we're getting dominated. It's just not pretty hockey.
Sure.
Like, I think something that the Capitals need to do, Josh, they need to get down and dirty. They need to have some fun with each other. And I think the Capitals right now are just aren't having fun. Right now, I'm currently having fun right now, doing a little episode in the snow with some ice right here. I think the Capitals need to have like a good old-fashioned snowball fight or something like that. Just like have fun with each other, gain like the energy back with each other, gain like the fun that they're having. You always see on their Instagram page them playing soccer in the hallways, and they always have smiles on their face. When they go out on the ice, they look miserable, Josh. The past couple games, Capitals don't look like they're having fun on the ice, and I wouldn't be having fun if I was losing 5-1, 4-2, 5-3 every single game.
5-1 also in a game that you really gave up 7 goals. 2 of them were called back. Carbery successfully using a coach's challenge twice. But yeah, it's no good feeling at all. And even when they scored to make it 3-1, then you have the second half of that 4-minute minor power play. So 3-1 with a chance to make it 3-2 on a power play. But you give them all the momentum because in their home barn, you're making it easy for them to kill off power plays. And I want to bring your attention to, I forget who passed it, but someone tried to make a pass up top to Dylan Strome. It was a bad pass because it was a no-look, spinorama, whatever. Strome doesn't get it. It goes all the way back down into the Cap zone. Strome, by the way, is skating back down the ice to go get the puck, and he gets completely out-hustled by the penalty killers. Completely out-hustled. We turn it over. They clear it all the way back down to their end. And all of a sudden, because we made one bad pass and didn't hustle to win a 50-50 battle and make a recovery, we lose 40 seconds of power play time.
Yeah, exactly what you're saying. Right now, it's not about the Capitals not playing, not scoring enough goals, making mistakes on one end. It's not about us not being the better players right now. It's not about us not playing up to our standards. Josh, the Capitals are playing bad hockey in general. It's just they're not trying hard enough. They're not there energy-wise. They're just getting outplayed on every aspect of the game. It's really sad to see what the Capitals have been right now. And the way me and Josh are talking, you would think that the Capitals are in last place in the league and the Capitals are done. They're in a total rebuild. This team is garbage for the next 5 years. It's not what we're saying. We're saying from what we expect for the Washington Capitals, this is straight garbage.
Absolutely. And you say it's not like they're in last place, but Adam, they are 7 points out of last place. You know, it's very bad what's happening right now. And I understand that the Metro Division's close, But you look at a team like the Carolina Hurricanes, who the Caps play next. They're the top team in the Metro right now. Next game is going to, for me, kind of be the tall tale indicator of what the rest of the season looks like. When you're going up against division rival, you can make up some ground in the wild card, in the divisional race. It's also a personal rival. You're at the end of a road trip and you're on the road. What is your identity? Are you a team that's going to rally with each other and you're going to win that game and you're going to restore some hope into these fans? Or are you a team that doesn't have it in you, like you've showed the last couple games, that can't find ways to consistently win? And are you just going to be a team that doesn't do? There's doing and there's not doing. There's not close. Close doesn't get you anything in hockey unless it's losing in overtime or shootout. Close doesn't get you anything in hockey. It gets you nothing. So I don't care that at one point the game was 3-1 yesterday and the Caps won a power play, because that's close, but that's not the actual same thing as being even. And if you're not able to finish in front of the net, and if you're not able to make plays, kill penalties, halt the momentum of a team that's just, I can't say it because we're family friendly, but
Poopy.
they're fudging you. And so you're just going to sit there and take it. You're not going to go to the playoffs. You're not going to go far in the playoffs.
No, it's not working right now, and I feel like a stat line that represents what the Capitals are at right now. Not to put this guy into the boat, because we're happy for him that he scored his first goal in 90 games, but it's just something like that's kind of representing what the Capitals are doing right now. They're not competing at a level that an NHL player, NHL team should be. You shouldn't go 90 games without scoring, no matter who you are. I don't care if you're getting 5 minutes a game or you're getting 20 minutes a game. Really, 90 games in a row not scoring as an offensive player, it's a little bit cheeky. Lapierre, he's a guy who does a lot more than scoring. So I'm not going to go right to say, "Oh, Lapierre, you're bad for that." But we're happy for him to score a goal there, but just stat lines like that, Josh, is the reason we're not winning.
And it's interesting you bring up Hendrix Lapierre. He had an amazing preseason. I remember the early days of this podcast was Caps preseason this year, and we were reviewing all those games. We were saying, Lapierre, player of the game. He's been on fire. He's been amazing. What happened? And I don't want to speculate.
He was scoring goals too. Yeah, actually, you can say that. He was scoring a lot of goals in that preseason.
And I understand you're not playing against full NHL teams in the preseason, but you're playing to still really good talent that is close enough. And that's where close can count. But I don't want to speculate as Lapierre gotten a little comfortable, going into the preseason, all the news and all the stories where Lapierre has to earn his spot, whatever. Is he less hungry right now? Maybe he's just not getting the minutes he thinks he needs. I understand. You get 5 minutes a game. It's really tough to make something happen. But look at Ethan Frank. Ethan Frank was also just getting 5-6 minutes a game, getting on the ice because of his speed, but he used it. And when he got opportunities, he finished them, and he was beating goalies with his shot. And all of a sudden now, Ethan Frank is playing on the first line with Alex Ovechkin, and he's getting a lot more ice time. So it's tough when you're at 5 minutes, but the Caps are really looking for anything that works right now. So if you can go and show Coach Carbs, and you can show the rest of the coaching staff that you have something that can work, then you're going to get ice time based on how the Caps are going right now. And that could change if they pick someone up at the deadline, which I want to get into with you right now, because do they need someone at the deadline or not?
I think someone like Hendrix Lapierre, I think the reason he scored, one of the reasons he's probably going to start picking it up is he's fighting for his ice time right now. Because the Capitals are shopping for a top guy, a top gun, a speed skater, someone with power offensively. They were at least, and they're still rumored to be right now. But if the Caps keep losing, are we going to fall out of that buying position, Josh?
Well, I definitely don't think that the Caps are going to become sellers because their team is too good to be.
Not sellers, but are they going to lose that chip? Because I know right now they're rumored to be looking heavily into Rangers star forward Artemi Panarin, as well as I saw yesterday to be rumored into St. Louis Blues captain Jordan Kyrou.
And I'm a big Jordan Kyrou guy myself. It started with a fantasy hockey draft and a great season after that, and then there we went. Um, it's yeah, they need something, and a big name like that. I would love for them to go out there and get Jordan Kyrou, um, and the Cavs might have to give up some picks. They might have to give up some players,
Yeah,
but they're not gonna give up. I think here's what I think. I've seen a lot of reports recently like the Caps don't have a great prospect line right now, which I don't know if I agree with per se, but I think the Caps have a lot to look forward to in a guy like Cole Hudson. So maybe giving up a draft pick in the first or second round, maybe it's a little bit excusable if it's to save this dumpster fire season when you have good prospects already.
yeah, I saw for Artemi Panarin in specific, the Rangers are rumored to be looking at somewhere in return like a first round pick, prospect, and another pick somewhere in there, somewhere in like the probably 2, 3, third round pick. But yeah, I feel like that's a lot for Artemi Panarin, even though he is a tremendous player and someone who can be a total game changer for a team. But yeah, Josh, I think the Capitals have what they have enough to make a splash like that. They have picks, okay? I think with the team they have right now, they can afford to give up first round picks, even though they do have some older guys and they want to get younger. I also kind of disagree with the fact that the Capitals farm system isn't super great.
Yeah,
I think
I
we
think
have
we're
talent. I just think they're less known, like guys like Ilya Protas, guys like that are playing in like the minors and the OHLA.
Miroslav Satan, if you will.
Yeah, Miroslav Satan. That I remember last year the Latvian guy who played for like the World Juniors. He went
Yeah,
off went off in the World Juniors. That guy was incredible. Um, yeah, we have a bunch
yeah.
of those guys, and
The Caps
they're
sent a bunch
they're
of
just
guys to
less.
the
Yeah, they're just less
yeah.
known right now. Except
They
Cole
sent a
Hudson, who
ton of
obviously
guys
is a
this
big
year.
name. Yeah,
They sent a ton of guys this year to the World Juniors. I think the Caps are doing okay in that regard. And something that could help the Caps, Adam, is Pierre-Luc Dubois is back in a contact jersey for the first time since November, I think, when he got injured initially. And it's been really tough for the Caps to play without their star center on the second line. And so a couple things to note with Dubois coming back hopefully soon. They said after the Olympic break, I would love to see him back for a game or two beforehand. I think Dubois' return could be the spark this team needs, and I'm not saying like they shouldn't go trade. I all season said they shouldn't be trading. They have all the pieces they need. I still think they have all the pieces they need. They just can't seem to solve the puzzle. So maybe a trade would be good. But Dubois coming back in, here's where it gets tricky. The Caps have found magic on that second line right now with Sordiff, Wilson, and Protas. Or is it, sort of Wilson and I believe Protas is on that second line with them.
or McMichael. No, McMichael's not though. No,
McMichael's
that's
third line right now. No, it's sort of Wilson and Protas on
Yeah,
that second line.
sort of Wilson Protas. Yeah,
Dubois has always been that center on the second line. So now Carberry has something unique. I don't think he should put Dubois back in on that second line. I see. Give me 1 second here. He shouldn't put him back on that second line. And it gives him a lot of flexibility for putting him on a different line. But what I have to think is whatever line Hendrix Lapierre is centering at the moment, that's going to be the line Dubois comes in on. And Lapierre, I don't think Lapierre should even be in the NHL right now, being a healthy scratch every night. I think Lapierre should be down at Hershey development.
yeah. I think with Pierre-Luc Dubois coming back, Josh, I think you can put him on the second or third line, or even first line if you wanted. I think they can move down Sordiff. They could do that and have Sordiff, McMichael, and Leonard. If they wanted, I think
that would be a quick line. Yeah,
that would be a quick line right there. I would love that. And then you could have Dubois, Wilson, and Protas, which, dude, that line right there was killing it before Dubois got hurt. That's a huge line. Those three guys are dominant forces on the ice, Josh. Those guys are big guys. Great offensive players too. Tom Wilson and Protas and Dubois have all proven that they can score on heavy levels and be physical players. So I think those two lines would be fabulous. And then you still have a line of Ovi, Beauvillier, and Strome. How good do those three lines? And then you still have Ethan Frank and Sonny Milano and Lapierre if you want, or Dowd if you want, or all these guys, Josh. And it's just frustrating that these players right now, who me and you think are so talented and can do so many wonderful, marvelous things, aren't performing at levels that they should be. And the Capitals aren't playing well as it is right now.
Absolutely, and yeah, to correct one thing you said, Ethan Frank's on that first line right now with
Okay, yeah.
Bavilianovi, and I was actually going to ask you. So Dylan Strome has been the third line center recently, and I know that the Caps said they needed a real third line center, so they put their best center on the third line. It feels kind of weird to see Strome on the third line at center, and I know it doesn't necessarily mean the best three players are on the first, the next best are on the second, like the fourth line is like the worst and whatever. I know it's not necessarily true, but the Frank Ovi Bavilier thing's working. Once it stops working, I kind of do want to see the Protus Ovi Strome line back together for a couple games. Give them another chance to figure it out because it was tough. The Caps were going through a tough schedule, and that line started to fall apart. But that line's showed in the past how good they can be. So if I could draw it up for like an completely experimental game, you reunite that line. You get the Wilson Dubois, and I guess if you have Protus on the first line, I'd put Wilson Dubois and Sordiff on the second line. See what they can get going. Put Sordiff back on the wing. See what happens. Then you get guys like Leonard and Duhaime going together. Because the interesting thing about guys like Leonard and Sordiff, by the way, is they're really physical. And so you throw them so they can be really quick on a line with Milano and Lapierre. But if you throw them on a line with Duhaime, they can be a crazy forechecking unit. You know, the Caps have a lot of versatility in guys like Leonard and Sordiff, and that needs to be utilized. They need to be constantly evolving lines, figuring out what the best mix is and what the best role for that player on any given night is.
Oh, totally, Josh. I want to say something that's going on right now in the NHL that I want to address. I don't know if you saw, but there was a hit. Brian Rust had a little hit in his game I think a day ago. A heavy head hit got him a 3-game suspension. Josh, the NHL right now, the officials are making a lot of changes to the rule book, I think, and we talked about that plenty when we were talking about goalie interference and all that kind of stuff. But they're really cracking down on head hits, Josh, and they're really cracking down. Hit to the head, you're suspended. That's not allowed. Nothing like that. Brian Rust got a 3-game suspension, and I want to just address it. Like, what do you think about the little rule changing right now? The way that the NHL is trying to shift their game.
Yeah, I think it's consistent with what we also saw from the reaction of the Mikko Rantanen hits earlier on this season. It's tough. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His name is Julian, and he made a comment just about. He said, I heard my dad say the NHL is going soft. What do you think? I'm not one of those guys that thinks the NHL is going soft. I think the NHL might be getting a little bit safer, but to say, "Oh, it's going soft," you're not allowed to obliterate guys anymore. It's like, yeah, maybe it's true. They're putting some limitations, but it's still a really fast, physical moving sport. And for example, I'm not trying to rehash anything, but you look at that Jacob Trouba hit on Ryan Leonard earlier this season, that went unpunished. And I'm not here calling for a punishment. I'm saying a hit that cathartic was completely legal in NHL rules. How can you say the NHL is going soft right now? I'm sorry you're not getting to watch someone's life be endangered because they let them do everything. I think it's imperative that the NHL make some rule adjustments because it's true. Players are getting hurt. And in the NHL, injury is inevitable, but it's also fairly preventable. In the NFL, you're going to get 200 concussions, 20 ACLs in the garbage can per season. In the NHL, it doesn't have to be like that. So I'm all for these rules. And I think if you say that the NHL's going soft because they're adding in rules for player safety, you're just blind to the fact that it's a sport and these players have families and they have lives outside of the NHL. They're going to play for 5-10 years. What happens after those 10 years? They need to be a person with a brain.
Yeah, I'm with you. And there's been a lot more injuries this year. We've seen a huge uptick in the amount of injuries. The Capitals have had their fair share of injuries. So have all the teams in the NHL. And I'm with you. I think the referees do need to be making rule adjustments as they go, as they see fit. Because we can't keep having this many injuries. We're not the NFL. Okay, we're not the NFL. The NHL has been better with injuries, even though they're just as physical as NFL. And some fans would say they're even more physical. But the NHL has more parameters on hits and all that. And the NFL obviously has a lot of that too. But I think the NHL can't become the NFL when it comes to injuries, and I'm totally with you, Josh.
Yeah. And as we look over to the Caps' upcoming schedule, we got the Hurricanes Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. It's a national broadcast, so just that already makes me mad because all they're going to say is, the Caps have won 3 of their last 11 games. They're not going to make the playoffs, but oh my goodness, wow, this Carolina Hurricanes team is so impressive. Like, give me a break, bro. We can all look at the standings, the stats online. Yeah, national broadcast games have not been kind to the Caps this year. So we'll see what happens. But then Saturday, you get back to Joby and Locker. Thankfully, yeah, it's gonna be really telling how they respond. Tom Wilson came out after the game yesterday, and he said, "We got our asses handed to us. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. It's a kick in the teeth. If we're not in panic mode right now, I don't know where else we should be." So this Caps locker room is panicking right now. All season we've been saying they're not panicking. They know they can get it together. Now all of a sudden they might not even know if they can get it together because all of a sudden up is down is up, and right is not left, and left is right. Like all of a sudden it's like we have the best goal scorer. We have all these guys who are so good and capable. We have some of the best rookies in the game. We have one of the best goalies in the game. So what's not happening? What's not coming together? And I think it's tough. I will acknowledge Chisholm and McElrath on a deep pairing last night. It's like tough. 2 guys that don't get a lot of time are now getting time together. But it's not just that. And I know the Caps had some bad bounces, but it's not just that. It was just an overall lack of effort. And Adam, it's okay for teams to have bad games, but it's not okay for them to not look like they belong in the league. And something I was thinking about a lot: the Washington Nationals. Got on your hat. They're terrible. I still would argue that most games they generally look like they're still a team in the MLB. Whether it be a pitcher, yeah, I get it, and maybe like overall no, but what I'm saying is a pitcher goes out there and has an amazing inning. Luis Garcia hits a 430-foot homer bomb. Jacob Young climbs the wall, makes a catch. Even in bad games, there's plays like that show an NHL team. Last night, or an MLB team, but last night, the Capitals, the Capitals, not one play where they looked like an NHL team, not one moment where they looked like they can get it together. And the goal that they scored, I mean, hats off to Ovi, goal 919. It's huge. He's standing there, it comes right out. It's an open net. When other times there was an open net, the Caps couldn't finish last night. So you don't look like an NHL team. You don't have your stuff together right now. You're getting fudged every single game by the other team. Why even go on the road trip if you're going to walk into another team's barn, grow a spine up your front, and bend over backwards for them? Like, it's the same thing we talk about. Why even go to a shootout? Can we forfeit? Why are we spending the money to get a team plane, to get all their equipment there, if they're going to go out and they're going to be an absolute embarrassment?
I just slammed the pieces of ice because I am upset, but we have a lot more to come for you. Come join us on our other episode where we'll be talking all things baseball, Josh. That's going to be really exciting. You want to leave it off for them?
Yeah, the baseball episode is going to be great. If you want to hear a little bit more optimism than what you've gotten on this episode because the crap suck, make sure to go check that one out. I've been Josh. That's Adam. This has been the saddest version of the Hockey Dingers and Dashers episode, and we will see you guys next time.